What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper back with the One Punch Man podcast. Today we're on chapter 119, and we have nothing but conspiracies and theories for y'all. You already know we got the normal cast here: Satsuki the Savage, Sundown, Matt, Zhoniin, Kishin, and we got a special guest. I just say we got a special guest. You don't know, we don't bring other niggas in here, but they do have a bunch of thoughts and theories on this chapter. What was that, Satsuki?
I didn't say nothing.
You don't like blacks?
Huh? Where did you get that from?
I'll continue. I just said I'll continue.
I didn't even talk long enough to say that whole
Hardly
sentence.
a minute in, and we're already getting racist. Lovely.
So, because the chapter had like so much like dialogue and there's like a lot to unpack, we are gonna maintain our same regular like page by page focus, but we may deviate into a lot of other thoughts. But in the meantime, let's hear what these niggas really felt about this greatness.
The biggest conspiracy of One Punch Man history, maybe. I don't know. It's crazy. My brain's in pretzel knots trying to think of where the hell this series is going. And that ending, though. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with Kishin. Like, I've had to read it a couple of times just to try and get everything going, because there's a lot to unravel from this. Like, at first I was like, okay, this makes sense, and then they brought Blast into it, and I was like, okay. And then you got the end with Genos and Drive Night, which is interesting. But no, it's a great chapter though. I didn't expect them to go this way with One Punch Man for a bit, but I'm fully okay with it. So yeah, good chapter.
Matt, could you give us a quick little review of your thoughts on the previous chapter as well?
I mean, transformations, right? They're really cool. Chariot was great. I liked it a lot because it was a super cool bike, but then you see Drive Knight's little face sticking out and it looks a bit silly because of it. I gotta be honest, like, as cool as it looks, you just got his little head popping out of the bike. Yeah, no, I mean, it was a good chapter. We finally got to see what Drive Knight can do. I think some stuff in this chapter's kind of like, I would say knocked him down, but changed my opinion of him a bit too. I'll explain. It's not to do with the conspiracy stuff.
No.
Just
I know it doesn't. It doesn't. We getting in there.
Yeah. Bro. But no, it was really cool. When I listened to Plug It, the One Punch Man podcast from last time, it's only then I kind of talked about the Boros stuff, which is scary if there's any link between Boros and that and the organization. No, it's really cool though. I like now we got to see a bit of what he could do. It was a good fight. I just liked it. All the forms were super cool, and yeah, it was entertaining and really showed what a powerhouse Drive Knight was.
One Punch Man always gets criticized for just having like the meathead fights, like we just have the fights. But we got to call back to one of the plot points that was here since season 1, early in season 1, and I'm glad that we're exploring this finally, because I've always been interested in what's up with Boyfoy and now apparently like Drive Night might have something to do with this, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I like this chapter. We didn't have a real fight. Actually, we did, but I still don't consider that shit a fight. But we got some other things, other plot points that we're exploring. So I'm happy with that.
One of the greatest assets in war is misinformation and disinformation. The fuck was that, man? But yeah, so I thought it was a brilliant chapter. I enjoyed it. I think Drive Night is like, there's so much misinformation, possibly disinformation, out of like what he's saying. And Second got freaking lost an arm, dude. Like, he has a metal kind of cybernetic eye. Will he get a Luke arm? I have no idea, but I'm hoping he kind of does.
Yeah, I think Second Guard's going to get an arm replacement. I mean, he already has like a mechanical artificial eye, so why not? That's it.
Just a quick one. Would you be annoyed if Second Guard got an arm before Iron did?
Yes.
Not sure. I wouldn't.
Like, Iron needs to get a damn arm. Like, I'm pissed about it because there's like so many dudes that could give him one. Like, they probably just have one sitting around. They don't even have to make it.
But don't you think it's more of a, don't you think it's more of a pride thing with Ian? In the sense
no,
that
definitely.
He doesn't want a non?
Yeah, most likely. But, like, if Mr. Compress can get a friggin' arm off panel, then why can't Iron just get one, like, on panel?
Also, it is funny to think that Brave Giant has actually had more arms than Iron has.
Oh.
Oh wait, sorry. I just spoiled My Hero. It just started season 4, and I forgot that that's.
It's all right. It's okay.
What just happened?
Oh no! For all the Mr. Compress fans, oh shit, he has another arm. Jeez, oh shit.
And another mask. Oh my god.
Well, he has
No,
the
like
different
Mr.
mask ever seen.
I know.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Mr. Compress is like one of my
Where does he
favorites.
keep them
It's
all?
awesome.
Nobody dies.
Every single podcast, these niggas find a way to sprinkle in that garbage, bro. Every single time. Bro.
Hang on, I'll even it out. Wait, Grimm, you have a Patreon. Why didn't you say so?
No, that's not, nigga, that's not the same, bro. Off the bat, just what's the biggest burning question or the biggest statement that you have? What's the first thing that comes to mind after reading this chapter? All
right, let me throw it out there. Let me throw like a piece of meat into the pit, and then you guys go at it.
Oh god.
Who is to be trusted? Drive Knight or Metal Knight?
Neither. They both sus. That's my thought.
But who is less sus?
Based on all the information, Drive Knight is less sus, just because we don't know anything much about him. But then again, all the information that we got from like how Metal Knight is sus really comes from Drive Knight. So it's like Metal Knight is sus because of Drive Knight, and Drive Knight is sus because of this one chapter.
I can agree that, like, nah, fuck that. I can't agree for that shit. No. This nigga Drive Knight, bro, like, come on. This nigga said he's a bad guy. Trust me, bro. Literally, that nigga's out there just chilling, drilling.
He's a bad guy.
Like,
that was the weakest shit I ever heard.
But Drive Knight, why would he do this? Well, because he's a bad guy. I don't know.
If it was like,
you fucking figure it out. He's a bad guy. What do you want to say? He's an asshole.
Have you ever met the guy?
Because of how like straightforward like One Punch usually is, it makes me like, and also because of like how creative One is, like he's literally known worldwide for like being able to like turn tropes and common like themes and stuff and flip it on their back sideways, make fun of it, utilize in unique ways. So like, honestly, I want to say that what if Drive Knight isn't lying, or what if Drive Knight's like goals like have something to do with just taking down Metal Knight, but he's also evil, like a competing business type of situation, right? Where you're both two organizations and you want to sabotage this other person, so you're gonna do your best to do that. You're not necessarily trying to like destroy the Hero Association, but you're trying to remove Beaufoy, and you're gonna use any means necessary to do that. And what if Beaufoy really does have the aspirations to take over the world? It's just he's not going to do it in a nefarious way. But because the organization wants to take over the world first, they're going to compete and make it seem like they're nefarious. That's what I don't think it's that necessarily, but it could be, because this is one. On the other hand, like, this thing even
so what is Beaufoy waiting for everything to get destroyed just so he can rebuild it and then take over the world?
Is it weird I trust Metal Knight more than Drive Knight?
No.
I don't know, man.
Can go either way.
Drive Knight, he seems pretty sus to me. I mean, like, just the part where he's on the Batman, like on the building, like Batman, looking down at people, like looking at Nyan and analyzing.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We'll get right. We'll put a pin in that. But just since you're mentioning that, in chapter 111, the cover page, you remember it was animated? We saw that crow on top of that building and it flew away. That's the exact same scene where we see Drive Knight in the Batman pose.
Yeah, if we had just panned a little bit further, we would have probably seen him on the building.
Yeah. All right, so continue, Sundown. I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah, but just how he was kind of looking down, saying he was analyzing Nyan and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, cool. But you can flip it on its back and just say he was just as equally analyzing the other heroes, right? And trying to see what they could do if anyone was a threat. Probably got a good look at our psychic dude. Forgotten his name. Geosper. Yeah, Geosper. So like, he just seems really sus. And then his whole blast thing. The guy, he's got one eye, man. I don't trust people with one eye.
Well, then you can't trust. Crap, what's his name? The executive dude. Why can't I ever remember his name?
Second guard.
Yeah, he's technically only got one eye. You can't trust him either.
I don't like him either.
I respect it.
I doubt. I've checked. Has anyone read that bonus chapter on Punch Man Rangers? It was out a couple years ago.
No.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No, I mean what you're going to go into with Metal Knight.
Yeah, this is kind of why I'm more Metal Knight's side. Is because like basically there's a guy who captures a monster, brief summary of it, and he's using like the scales and selling them privately because he gets a load of money from it. But Metal Knight is the one who finds out about this guy. And he's the one who kicks him out because he's useless and he's not really helping out the Hero Association. And like he doesn't trust a lot of people in the Hero Association, but he keeps them around because they're easy to manipulate. But he is trying at least to try and get people out of there. So it's not like he's not doing bad. He's doing bad stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, like we saw with the Meteor, he wasn't helping. He just wanted to test out his weapons. But he's also trying to help people out too, by like getting rid of the weak links in the Hero Association.
See the because this is something that I'm starting to see as even just discussing with you guys. I didn't think that this was going to be like so unclear, or that there were going to be like even sides to choose whether Metal Knight or Drive Knight is the one. Like it seems from this chapter that it's pretty obvious, and we'll go into the hints later on of like why Drive Knight may be more suspicious in particular for this chapter. And I know we also discussed about the credibility of Metal Knight being suspicious, but like a lot of what he does is for his own benefit, his own like personal gain, whether it's the weapons tests, even like maybe even rebuilding the city A or whatever is underneath the Hero Association. We may find out that comes down to some more personal benefits. I don't. The reason why I think Metal Knight may seem suspicious for any reason is because he's selfish or he does things for his own reasons on his own time or his own schedule. But besides that, I don't think it can be Metal Knight. Like, you really think he's lying to this little ass kid, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, child would have.
Man, them tears when he was crying. No, those was real. That nigga was shook. He was shook. He wasn't faking. I don't know. Drive Knight is way too suspicious. It's just he kept pestering about the heroes and like asking for Blast out of all times. That's what really did it for me, because it's like nobody even thinks about Blast. Nobody in the series even mentions him, and then it's just such a weird time to do it. You know, like people are in danger right now. You're asking about like what's the situation with the Hero Association.
So since we're on Blast, this is the first time in the manga that we're actually seeing what he looks like, other than just from like originally when we saw in chapter 84 from like the back of his head and a little bit of his shoulder, which was actually retconned to like a shadowy figure because one felt that he revealed too much at that time. But now we're seeing him straight up. So what do you guys think about Blast now that you have seen him, or at least what he looks like from the back?
It was like
he's still very stuck on the
back, ain't it? Throw that ass back, Black.
He got that wagon. He got that wagon on him.
It also kind of has like a mummy-esque looking design with the line pattern. I don't know if that's supposed to be like just tape that he's wrapped himself up in, or
it's just kind of like I don't know. If you look closely, it's like it's just a little part of it. It's not a fully wrapped thing. It's kind of just like a design, a rectangular thing.
I don't really have thoughts on it.
Wrapping. I saw it more like an armor, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
You find out he's actually not that strong. It's just his tech. It's just like Mermaid Man. It's like,
guys, he's G6.
the power is in the suits. Otherwise, why do you think we would wear these, neon colored outfits 24/7? Kind of
His
deal.
outfit kind of reminds me a little bit of Garo, and you know how his outfit seems to be sticking to him the more monstrous he's becoming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit like that, obviously without the cape.
And he's friggin' jacked. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
All Might.
Well, I think there's a character. I'm not sure if it's in Jimmy Neutron, but he has that kind of design.
Okay,
The-
no, keep going.
The black
I was
hair,
a fan of.
the black haired kid. I think it's in Jimmy Neutron, right? There's a.
Are you talking about Sheen?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes. Yes. Whenever I think of Sheen
No,
and Black, bro, that's like.
You're not comparing Blast to Sheen. I'm
my-
going to pull up a picture. We are
It's
not
like,
comparing.
it's like I'm not just
Yeah.
idolizing Ultra Lord. I have become.
Like in the purple color scheme, it must be one of those fan drawn pictures that I've seen that like the scheme and everything just reminded me of Sheen so much. So that's who like a grown up
That
Sheen is
purple
who I
and
picture Blast is.
like purple and turquoise coloration that his shirt is.
Yeah.
So
That is
let me just touch on that purple color real quick. That's not his official color scheme. We don't know what it is yet. We haven't seen anything yet. Not even the webcomic, nothing. No hints of it. That purple color scheme, as far as I know, originally came from the artist that Tekking commissioned to make like that Blast fan art where he has like his hand like clenched. It's like one of the most famous Blast fan arts out there. It's where the purple color design started. So that's kind of just like what either Tekking wanted or what that artist envisioned he would look like.
Wait, this the
Okay.
kid you saying looks like Blast?
Yeah, we need to
Which
cancel
now
the
makes
Netflix.
me start thinking, now that Grimm's put us on this
No,
tangent,
no.
what if Child Emperor is Jimmy and he shrunk his own head? Gained immortality, so he no longer. But you remember, Jimmy always makes his gadgets out of like regular objects. That's basically how the theme of Child Emperor's tech works. Ooh, we might have a weird one here.
Yeah, you should make a video about it.
No, there's no way.
But
I get-
speaking of the thing that Satsuki was talking about with him mentioning Blast, that is pretty odd, right? Where he's like, hypothetically, just saying, like, not me, but if somebody were to like attack the Hero Association, like, would Blast show up? Just asking for a friend. And then like he asks again later on. He's like, "Oh damn, there's all these beat up people on the ground. We gotta get him out of here. You sure that Blast can't come?"
It's literally the being held at gunpoint. It's like, so, about Blast. Any chance?
You got his number on speed dial, maybe.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh,
Like, no,
yeah.
god damn it! Only a few people can fucking call Blast. All right, it's not me. So you're saying there's a chance?
But fine, I'll call the people that might know his number. Let me
Oh.
just hold my phone up and then.
I don't fucking know Blast Drive Night. Stop asking me.
and since you bring it up, I wanted to talk about that a little bit earlier when Tatsuki was also mentioning the fact that like initially when he brought up Blast, so like, is it just information gathering that this guy's trying to do, or are we to believe like this is just I'm pulling this out of my ass? Or I'm about to say next out of my ass. I'm not saying to actually think about this. Do not bring this up ever again in conversation, fanbase. But
Write it down, people.
does the organization bro, Zhoniin's beating his meat, dog.
Let him do what he does. It's okay.
Then why does it not?
Thank you, Satsuki. Don't kink shame.
All right, but so are we to believe that the organization has the ability to like challenge or effectively inquire on Blast? And when I say effectively inquire, I mean like to like gather information with a purpose. Like they're trying to like figure out where he is so that they can go bust his ass there, or like they're trying to figure out how tough he is so they know like what to bring when they beat his ass and shit like that. Like it's for a purpose. Are we to believe that they can challenge Blast?
Well, that's
I
the
could
question.
definitely see it going that way. Like, because he's the strongest known hero, and how technology is always, if it's AI, it always wants to know as much as it can. Well, if it's trying to test, say, the newest weapon they have, they want to use it against the strongest available force to see, oh, is it actually effective as much as we think it is? So they set up the whole scheme and then try to blast, and it's like, oh, he didn't survive. Yay, we succeeded. Our weapon was a success. Or if it didn't, it's like, okay, just transfer this data. We now know what to work on, and we try again someday.
There ain't no trying again if you fight Blast. But Devil's Advocate, he legitimately is curious if Blast will show up because he feels that they might need Blast. He's like seriously concerned. He's like, well, Watchdog Man, Metal Knight's out of the picture, Metal Bats and Tank Top Masters in the hospital. It's like all we really have left is Blast at this point. We might need him. Could be that. Maybe.
I wanted to hype up, and I'm gonna be hyping it up from now onward. This viewpoint. So you can't find a thing or a monster that's not Orochi or Boros that can destroy a country. In One Punch Man, a city is the size of a country as it's shown on the map. They're enormous. It's a supercontinent, so basically it's a country. Not Rover, not Phoenix, not Goketsu, not EC. They can't destroy a whole country. They can't do it. It would take them a long ass time, multiple days, maybe even weeks, whatever, or multiple efforts. They can't do that shit. The fucking ship that Boros brought did that shit with one volley. Just one assault took out all the ACD, all up in them cheeks, flattened that bitch out besides Eon. That's that nigga, bro. He tough as hell. So, and that one little kid or whatever, yeah. The little kid's probably, that's Blast son, nigga. But,
Blast Jr.
Yeah.
No, that is Blast.
Oh, it's Boom.
But the one thing that survived this, like, over fucking powered fucking demon that Broers brought with that nigga is the association. And this isn't the new upgraded design. It was a previous one. Not to say that it was obsolete or lacking any sense, but Bolfoy made that bitch. And whenever we do versus matches, you don't leave Metal Bats bad at home or whatever. You don't leave Brave Giant at home when Child Emperor's fighting. So like,
well, sure you do.
So he can just summon it. So what does it matter?
So like, technically, we should be considering the defensive capabilities of the Hero Association fortresses as part of Metal Knight's capabilities. Like he's able to defend against a Boros ship level attack. Technically, that's what we've seen.
Well, I think if you're going to use that, I think it's better to say that hypothetically, he probably has a robot that has that plating on it, because like he can't use the association to his disposal. But if he can just give that away, I think it's like very likely that he has it for himself too. And we have yet to see like anything else from him besides or as impressive as what the Metal Knight robot is. And that clearly doesn't have the freaking Hero Association plating on it.
Yeah.
Wait, what if the alloy that he uses for the building is actually so dense it can't be used on anything that's going to move? Hence why we've never seen anything.
One Punch Man ain't going to play by those rules.
I'm just saying, it would make some sense anyway.
I mean, it could, yeah, but that would kind of like nerf things in not a good way.
Regardless of that, like, as long as we're considering the fact that, like, as Zhoniin mentioned, that either he has a mobile unit that is equipped with that type of defenses, or if we consider the fortress, whatever the situation is. The point I wanted to get to is that was a marking point in the series. Like, not since then or before that point had we had anybody do that. And the nigga who owned the ship was also doing that thing to niggas. So, like, if Bolfoy, by proof and matter of fact, besides the assaults on the meteor or whatever, or besides failing on EC, he can deal with niggas coming from space at that highest level. High Dragon and above, we can almost confirm that Metal Knight should be able to fight, right?
Definitely. It was confirmed pretty much by narration and Giro that he could solo Elder Centipede.
Whoa, bro. Tighten up. Hold up, bro. No.
No,
I
that's
believe
no.
panels for that. Oh, you support
No,
that?
that's
chapter 84.
Yeah, generally, like Metal Knight was one of the few people that could take on Elder Centipede solo.
Yeah, it was Blast, Metal Knight, Tatsumaki, and King.
The quote said that exactly.
Yes.
Cause I kind of found a correlation to prove that fucking Giro doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I was
She
doing
definitely does, but that was more so narration.
Oh, like not even Giro coming, like the narrator was in the big box.
I mean, it was Phoenix Man talking to Garo, but it was more so just getting the point across of the hierarchy of the S class and why Silver Fang isn't in that hierarchy.
Phoenix said that bitch? Oh, shit.
Phoenix Man was talking to Garo, and he was like, "Don't feel so bad. There's only 4 people who could defeat Elder Centipede, and it's Tatsumaki, Metal Knight, Blast, and King."
Shit, nigga, if Phoenix said it, that nigga's smart as hell.
Yeah, Phoenix Man is pretty reliable.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty smart.
Okay, gathering the news and intel and shit. Still though, like
how quickly your opinion changed.
Oh well,
It's stressful.
that's all you have to say.
Wait, Phoenix Man said that. She said anything about me?
The Pulp Fiction meme. Gotta throw it in there. So somebody make that if you've gotten to this point in the video, please make that the Jules meme from Pulp Fiction. Just put like
Actually, we
Grimm.
don't even know what's in the case. It just glows.
It's Phoenix Man suit. There we go. We figured it out, boys.
It's the One Piece.
It's the whatever the hell you
It's just a
want it
scrunched
to
up
be.
piece of paper that says friendship on there.
It was magic, hence the light show.
Hell, bro. I'd really like go after Oda if he was a piece of paper.
Nah, he squashed that many times. You know that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro.
He was like Whitebeard in real life. He was like, "Listen, you motherfuckers! The fucking One Piece is real, all right? Don't put that friendship or that journey bullshit at me. It's real. It's something that you can touch.
Get your dick sucked by too.
It can blow you."
No one was like, wow, when did Oda get so good at English?
That's all he knows how to say. Just that speech.
Just it can blow you.
He learned it for that press conference.
Perfect American accent, perfect cadence. But then after that, he just goes back to regular Japanese.
Oh shit! All right, but all right. Let me finish the point. So taking what we've said into account, should Boy be like considered a new standard now, or like because this is one of the things that I had to battle up against or try to avoid on purpose because of this. People were telling me that like, oh, stop doubting Metal Knight or whatever, or like Metal Knight can do this or that, or Metal Knight has like niggas even told me he had a whole army and shit right beforehand, and I was like, that's not in the fucking manga. Get the fuck out my face. Like that's
Said he had a what?
They said he had an army and shit.
Yeah, I mean it does say it in the manga.
Where?
This chapter.
In chapter 84, it says it, and then it says it in this chapter as well.
Did you
But
see
then
the picture of the army in this chapter, Grimm, where he's talking about Metal Knight?
No, I'm talking about
But
before
then-
this moment.
But then they allude to it.
No,
I mean, I don't remember the specific chapters before 84, but they definitely allude to Metal Knight having like an army.
Plus,
I mean,
we can see he's got like. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just because we can see he's got an army of robots, just from that chapter after Boros with Tank Top Master, where he has the Star Wars robot show up and
Yeah.
like, clean
Yeah,
it.
that's the chapter everybody references, but like those aren't combat bots that could fucking like. Besides that big ass shit, all that shit's getting eaten up by anything. I was talking about a combat bot, something similar to Metal Knight, or as we now know that are Metal Knight variants. Before, so I believe that there were Metal Knight variants or other different things, weapon systems that he could probably bring out. But a whole army, that the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because of that series name concept. Like right now, there isn't anybody that should be able to fight Metal Knight. Like if Metal Knight brings out what he has, technically, that's why I'm trying to bring up the fact that he should be a new standard now, because Metal Bat is not beating Metal Knight if he brings out some of what we know that he should have now. And I'm not talking about assumptions. I'm talking about what was drawn on the page, what was confirmed that he has, and what we've seen. Nothing about assumptions. That's why I want to stay away from that from the beginning. That's why for a long ass time, like I was saying, I didn't want to talk about Metal Knight because people were saying all these things that weren't, as you guys pointed out, were alluded to, obviously.
But you don't want to take into account what the data book says either?
Yeah, the data book, yeah, but where the fuck are these things, bro? Like,
it says he has 100, at least 100 Metal Knight robot.
Yeah, I heard that number before too. 100 drones or some shit like that.
Like I can pull up the page.
Facts, man. I bet, yeah. Is this shit translated?
Yeah.
Like the whole data book?
Most of it. But also like that page in particular, it doesn't even really need to be translated for you to believe it because like you see 100 like written.
Oh, in the Japanese character?
No, it's just 100 and then Japanese words after that, but it's like I mean if you were wondering like, oh well 100 is a mistranslation, it's like no, it straight up says 100.
100 press-ups.
Yeah. 100 pull-ups, 100 drones.
I'm just saying that like
Okay.
whenever we get to like discussing certain people in any series, certain characters because of the nature of their power, it gets too disingenuous to discuss about them. Like Law and One
No,
Piece.
I agree. With Metal Knight in particular, a lot of his power is based on assumptions. You're correct, because we only can really go off of what his implied potential is. But it's just that he has like such a high standard for what his potential could be. So it's kind of difficult to say how strong he is, but I just think he's likely as strong as you probably think he is.
No, you don't. No, you
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, not you, Grimm, but just you.
He's a
in general,
trope
the person
machine,
thinking about it.
literally.
Like I said, he was narrated to be one of only 4 people who could defeat Elder Centipede. And then like his military might is so powerful that the Hero Association fears him. That's also what Phoenix Man says. And then the 100 robots, the construction crew that he had going after Boros' ship, the construction crew that he used to make the Hero Association, which was like a 10-year plan. He did it in a week. So it's like we're just guessing. Like, okay, well, if he wanted to like destroy the world, he probably could.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you like next. That's why like I've been trying to unravel this because, and this is about to be like niggas finna be like, nigga, Grimm, you trolling, bro. Like, stop that. Why the fuck isn't Metal Knight stronger than Tatsumaki? We already know the debacles in the games that go along with the rankings, and there is absolutely zero reason to believe that at the highest levels there may not be an even crazier particular situation where like Metal Knight has an entire fucking country under his command and it's nobody knows about it and shit, so they're not going to account for it. Like we already saw Flashy killing hella niggas without reporting it to shit. We know that people have their powers in Latin states like a Mai or or a Mai who has a particular role or purpose to be in that position. So I'll ask you all directly, and if you all answer me, is it possible that realistically Metal Knight could beat Tatsumaki?
I think so.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
A battle of attrition, he probably would win. We don't really know what her threshold of like how her powers work. Like, is it based on how much energy she can generate in one day or something like that? So if she has like a finite amount of power at any given moment, if he just kept bombarding her, even with weaker attacks, she's eventually going to lose ability to protect herself, fight back, destroying his machines if he can just keep, endless armies. So there's a strong possibility.
I mean, it's just entirely speculation, right? Like, as it stands right now, as you say, on the page, Tatsumaki wipes him, no problem. But just in my opinion, I think he probably has something that like is much more powerful than Brave Giant. Like probably something that not even Espers can deal with. Just guessing, because that just seems like what the ceiling is for him.
He seems like the type of guy to like have contingencies for everyone, right? Just in case they go dark side.
Oh, he's the Batman.
That too. He
Yeah,
probably
so
has an answer to Esper's.
yeah.
Or he's developing it.
It's just this guy just like he doesn't fuck with anybody, bro. Like for anything. Like Child is the only exception, and like I feel like Child got the little inside scoop on shit. But like besides that, Metal Knight isn't in cahoots with anything. Like he does it on his own, and things just so the things that he do just so happen to coincide with what's beneficial for like the association at the time, or like the association has a disaster that just so happens to be beneficial for a problem, an issue, an examination, a test that he wants to get done. It's convenient and shit. That's how I feel like it is. So it's the displays of capability. Let me add this one. This is straight headcanon, all personal shit right here to me. What I'm about to say next, so don't even take it into account. But I would expect for the higher levels of these types of niggas, in particular for Metal Knight, he's technically, on my assumption, the highest possible character for tech. I thought he would have orbital defenses or shit in space, but the only thing we've seen is Child Emperor's drone up there, or excuse me, satellite up there. So like,
What if he has cloning, or not cloning, but cloaking tech?
yeah, let me assume Metal Knight has cloaking tech for his satellites in space.
Shit, I got kicked out midway, but I heard y'all talking about the Metal Knight Tatsumaki thing. Literally, I'm picking Tatsumaki in almost any situation unless it's versus Saitama. So it's just with my boy Boyfoy he's still a human at the end of the day. You just have to get to him, and then once you do that, it's done. It doesn't matter if he has all this tech if you just go straight to him and off him. With Tatsumaki, you have to, if you're going to bombard her with stuff, you probably have to do it for a long period of time, because it seems like her psychic power is almost limited. At least, like right now, we haven't even seen her being challenged yet. So I have to pick her until I see her take a loss or something.
That is true, because Giro is an Esper dragon level and like no challenge whatsoever to Tatsumaki.
Oh,
That'll be something to speculate on as we continue to see more development from like not only Metal Knight but Tatsumaki herself. Her fight's been on a pause for a fucking long time, man.
Everything's been on a pause.
I was thinking that maybe this would be the chapter that we would return to it. I didn't know we would get into this whole traitor talk, I
honestly don't mind it though. I'm really enjoying this, mainly because it's like new. It's just super interesting. Like this chapter was so like compelling to me.
I really enjoyed it.
Apparently it was. 3 videos.
But like after this wraps up, whatever's going to happen, like the arc like goes crazy. Like crazy shit starts happening.
It's like, yeah, it's at the moment, like Muratas want to put all the pieces into like where they need to go. So then hopefully, like once everyone's shown where they are, it'll just go bam, and then like the next thing it'll just be like fight, pretty much.
I mean, but like, nigga, like, do you know who we have lined up? Like, you can't do that. It's too much. It's way too much, bro.
It's like bam, and Saitama grows hair.
That's what I was alluding to. It just gets crazy. Like Saitama just starts growing hair, and everybody's like, "Whoa, he's got hair now! Whoa, he looks like Blast! Whoa, he is Blast!"
He doesn't go Super Saiyan, he goes Krillin.
Oh, what if it isn't even that, and he just starts growing a mustache, and it's like a really bad mustache, but he just keeps it 'cause it's the only hair he's got.
Just a really
all of a sudden,
weedy mustache.
in every fight, it starts to curl upwards, further and further, and it's going Super Saiyan or some shit. I don't know.
Make a video about it.
How the hell am I going to make it?
Your idea, mate. You go for it.
No. I've already done a power-up video for him.
Did it involve the Super Saiyan mustache?
Nope.
I think it's time for part 2 then, Kishin.
Oh god.
And a part 3.
The next point I wanted to address is, all right. So, in the beginning of the chapter, Drive Knight informed us. Well, he kind of gave us, I keep mentioning that we're gonna start this, and we are in the makings of doing this in the Discord and for the channel. But we're gonna evaluate the stock of Neon because Drive Knight was out here, buying and trading shit out here, bro. Drive Knight mentions that Second Guard is wrong for underestimating the ability of Neon. That he was tough, and that a frontal attack, trying to kill him from the front or something like that, would have been extremely difficult. So, not only did he have prep time, was observing his abilities, he's also hyping him up after the fact. Does this drop Drive Knight stock? Does this raise Neon's? Does it do both? Does it do neither? How do you feel about that evaluation?
Wait, can you hear me? Yeah, both. I wasn't seeing my shit light up, but yeah, because he had to analyze Neon before he went in there, and what that tells me, or what you can surmise from that, is that he wasn't at the very least he wasn't ultra confident that he could just walk in there on Neon and just slap him up like it was nothing. Just take it for example, if it was like some tiger threat, do you think he's going to try to give himself the best chance? But if it was a tiger threat, let's just say, he's not going to just like, I gotta analyze this nigga. No, he's going to slap him up, and then that's going to be the end of it. So he had to at least try to read him before he went out in there recklessly. So that at least tells me that he respected Neon's strength to sit back and let the heroes get washed before he went in there himself. So I think it does both raise Neon's stock, albeit it's not like great, and it doesn't drop Drive Knight stock greatly, but it does tell you, again, he wasn't super confident that he was just going to walk in there and just do whatever he wants. Like, if I use another hero, for example, Tatsumaki, she doesn't have to read you. She's going in there, punking you, and that's it. She doesn't have to sit back and analyze. But it is Drive Knight, and that is his style and method of fighting. So
yeah, I was gonna say like
you
that
could take,
because it's his style. Shouldn't we like not remove from it? Because I agree. You're right to point the fact that like if it's a fucking tiger, I mean he did say call blast, so The nigga would have been serious. Like, we need blast for his ass.
Yo, you know what would be cool? I'm just saying, like, if we got blast, right? Let's get him. Where's he at?
It's like
Blast.
getting a gun. It's like getting an AK-47 to shoot a roach. It's like it's overkill.
Oh shit!
I think similar to Satsuki, it drops a little, but not for the. I think for me, it's more like his method of how he does things, and like I get it. It's like a necessary evil because he has to prep in time and he has to make sure that like he goes in there and he can take down the threat. It's more the fact that he's letting people get injured and possibly die just to do it, and I get it because like it's like you gotta make sure you take down this guy, but his job as a hero is to try and save as many lives as he can, and he's not letting that happen, and even like putting himself at risk. And like that's what I'm torn about. Drive Knight is more like I get why he does it. I'm just not happy the way he does it.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
That's exactly me. 100%.
It's like that. At Dave Chappelle, the new in one of his new specials, he made a joke about Cosby. He was like, he made an analogy of a hero who has to like. He's got to roast a female's pussy before.
I haven't a clue.
He's got to roast some pussy to activate his powers whenever an incident happens. So the joke punchline is that he rapes, but he saves, just like Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Oh god. No.
He rapes, but he saves. That's my Dave Chappelle impression.
No.
That's the Drive Night comparison. It's Drive Night. He rapes, but he says.
Not 100% who Dave Chappelle is, but that was absolutely him. That was like
Nigga,
a
you don't
spot.
know who Dave Chappelle is?
I mean, he's English.
Nah, bro. This nigga went to Africa and was killing it, bro. Come on.
That's still that's still not the UK.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to give you the treatment, bro. I got to after the podcast. All right. You know,
Yeah, I think I'm in line with just about everyone else saying that the stocks haven't changed. You know, not too many investors are coming and going. But like Drive Night, I guess you could say, okay, he's been basically working, nonstop for 2 days. As we find out, a very crucial thing is that he's running low on power by the end of this fight. So this might have been the reason he went so in depth on his analysis of Nian, was because it's like, I basically got one shot. If he's stronger than, we think he is, and I just jump in there, it might be all over for me. Turns out it wasn't entirely that. But it does kind of give Nian also a bump, because it's like, oh, was this actually in the factoring of that analysis, or not? But, I don't know. He's a robot. They're logic-minded. The more information they have, and then that dictates what their next move is. It's always that way.
See, with Nian, it's because Drive Night was analyzing him, and Nian was against people he was toying with, right? So all the analysis that Drive Night would have gotten was him against people that were beneath him. So whereas I would usually say this takes away from Drive Night, all the analysis he got was, this is what Nian can do against A-class, B-class heroes. And it's not really his fault that the only move Nian had was extreme feline retribution.
Actually, he never used that once.
Did he not? He only had feline retribution then all the way through.
Yeah, from all the translations. He's used extreme feline retribution once, I think, in the whole series.
Well, yeah, there we go. And the fact that really he didn't show anything beyond that I feel like that takes away more from Nian rather than from Drive Night himself. I mean, Drive Night saw what he could do against people that were lesser, and Nian just failed to show anything better than that.
Should have turned into a tiger. Tiger mode activate, but no, didn't have it in him.
So I think it kind of keeps it the same. I don't think either stock is dropping or raising, but I also like that they put it out there, because I think more so he's talking to Second Guard here, but also like the audience. It's like, hey guys, I'm sure you think Nian's like a little bitch after this, but he's not. Like, there were circumstances that went into how I was able to beast him. But like, even though he did come prepared, and I like that, because it's like when we are doing like the hypothetical versus battles and debates and stuff, we always throw it out there like, okay, what if so-and-so came prepared? And like, we're actually seeing it here. He did come prepared to this fight, and it did obviously change things. But it doesn't change like the feats themselves. Like, Drive Night is still in his gold form tanky enough to just tank the friggin' feline retribution, no problem. It doesn't even leave a scratch on it. He's powerful enough to like do whatever the hell he did at the end of the chapter. We don't even see it. That massive explosion thing. He's fast enough to transform within fractions of a second and like counter Neon. Like, that doesn't change. He still has super strength, like minimum tank top master stuff. It just more so goes into the outcome of the battle. I don't think it's making one or the other weaker or stronger. It more so just allowed the odds to fall in his favor of winning.
Yeah, it was. Well, for my stock evaluation, I think it actually brings up Drive Night stock as well as Neon stock instead of bringing down Drive Nights. Mainly because of what we're about to talk about next, but this is more so just, as you mentioned, just how he goes about things. Other guys are reckless, other guys go in there and just save the day and then encounter problems as they go. Metal Knight's an example of the other variant, where there's a situation, he'll go in there, knock a nigga's head in, get bust, get bust a little bit more, come back for a little bit more busting, and then bust they ass type shit. Drive Knight's the variant. He's gonna slide there and find the best strategy to do it. The reason why I say we should consider it though is because we can't assume, or if we were to agree upon that, we would be also assuming that if there's a person who Drive Knight is not strong enough to beat after evaluating it, that he won't engage them. So we could see some Neon type shit. We're like, oh, this nigga's tough. Let me run type shit out of nowhere. Like, so I'm not saying that would be the case, but like, it goes into the next question that I'm about to ask. He not only has information on Neon, as we saw, he was posted up like Batman on top of the ledge, and we saw animated out there, cooling and shit. But he also has information on Black Sperm, Giro, Bug God, and Fear Ugly. I'm not sure what this really means because we saw him watching, and then he beat Neon. Does that mean that he was able to watch Giro without Giro knowing something that, like, you know, Giro was hiding behind a pillar and he couldn't do? Does that mean that, like, Drive Knight honestly has the ability or the competence to be able to defeat the people mentioned? Or does that mean that the fact that they are not dead at Drive Knight's hands, that he can't beat them? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we really believe that, like, he's looking up these people, getting information on them, and then that's how he's winning or whatever, right? Then does that mean that he can't beat them? Or is the other scenario just really about fucking he didn't want to kill them, or he came here for a purpose, so he had to kill Neon? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I want you guys to go more into this, but you bring up the good question. You did ask how he obtained it, right? How did he obtain the information?
Yeah.
Well, see, he says, allegedly, that he interrogated monsters, which we saw him do in Chapter 66. Originally, that's how I found out the location of the Monster Association in Z City. But we don't see him do anything else. So how did he get this information? Do you guys believe that he actually did interrogate monsters and he, quote-unquote, going behind enemy lines?
I think, I mean, could it be possible? Sure. But do I believe it? Fuck no. It's like some of these monsters, I don't see them showcasing their power. Under what circumstances would someone like Black Sperm, like, under what circumstances would he show his power to anybody?
Facts.
Anybody who would actually try to fight him, they would just be dead. It's that simple. Like, he would not have to really do anything. So I think that interrogating the monsters and getting information on all of the people he had was kind of bogus. Maybe like Giro, because we seen his power be shown off against like weak monsters, and you know that makes sense. Bug God, that one I can see, yeah, because maybe like he's just like flexing on weaker monsters, but like I don't buy all of them for sure. So it's just that whole thing was another hint that Drive Knight may be the traitor.
Matt, I don't know, Kishin?
I feel like first-hand information, if he people, is probably a lot more, straightforward. Like if he had gotten information through interrogation about Nian, I don't know how the fight would have gone. Probably still would have ended up about the same, given what Nian is capable of, But I feel like that went a lot better because he saw it himself instead of asking people. And you know how like people that like the servants of, like, say, a powerful warrior or whatever, like they've seen the feat of strength or something, or they hear tell of ones that fought alongside of them and everything, but they don't really know how powerful that person is. So that's probably what would have ended up happening with the interrogations, is it's not first-hand accounts, so the information is muddled, let's say. So some of the information might be, or it's incomplete,
Yeah. To be fair, we don't have we don't know exactly what information he has, like how detailed it is, if it's the same amount that he has on Yan Yan. So
I
yeah, that's a fair point.
I agree with that sentiment that we don't know the depth of the information agreed, but like
Yeah, there's like not even if you look at the pictures or the panels that show like, black sperm, grow, all that. Like there's what looks like less than a paragraph of information on any of them. Nian is actually the one that has some of the most, along with Bug God. So
What was the point of getting information on Bug God? That shit was so useless.
just use bug spray.
I mean, but like, is that your way of answering like whether you believe Drive Knight would be able to defeat these people? Like
Maybe.
Okay.
I think he's probably just as strong as almost any of the executives or the cadres. Not all of them, but we saw, how he went against Neon, and I don't think there's that big of a discrepancy between the rest of the cadres and Neon. Maybe Black Sperm and Goketsu and Elder Centipede, but the rest of them all kind of probably around the same level, at least from what we've seen so far. But also, I think the question about Bug God here, it is odd that he's just thrown in there, but I think it could just be subtly showing that he's probably the strongest demon.
Hmm.
Nah, bro.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything.
No,
It's
yeah,
weird that he's
there's
right
no way
there
to
now.
know.
Like, this is like fuck, dog. I'm just saying, like, this is like we really could pull anything out of this, but I was even trying to. I got one of the niggas to in the Discord. Shout out to Kelp, who's been doing a lot of the coloring for the panels that the chapter's been releasing, and he did a coloring of this for us because I wanted to use it for one of the new frames in the podcast. It's been like 5 to 6 months and shit. We got the same frame. We got to evolve shit over time, and this panel is worthy of it, dog. But like,
Oh yeah, good call.
hell yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to update that either this podcast or the next one. But yo, oh man, like Drive Night out here with the info, bro. It's like it makes me. I just don't know how I feel about this shit because it's like I said earlier that it doesn't bring down his stocks. It's his fighting style. It's how he does it. But like, just like Zhoniin pointed out, him tanking that big ass field of retribution is proof that regardless of the strategy, he has the equipment to get the strategies completed. Like he's not lacking, man. It's just he finds a way to get things done beforehand. So it's like, should I be questioning Drive Night on like niggas? Like, will he get his ass bust by a nigga that's like, tougher than his ass? Or like
I think one of the questions I want to ask, I don't want to get off from this point, but it's like, why does he have this information? As far as we know, he's not even trying to contact any of the other heroes and tell them like, yo, watch out for this. You should be wary
He
of
does
this.
mention that he just hasn't had time to transfer that information to anybody.
you believe
And
his
I
ass?
definitely don't buy that.
Hell no.
But I'm just saying it
But he said he didn't want to risk it falling into the hands of a traitor, aka
Yeah.
Metal Knight.
This is the.
I mean-
but that was the spark of the. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was gonna say because thinking back to when Child Emperor was exploring, and he found Metal Knight's body. Do we know who actually took apart Metal Knight as well?
Who destroyed him, or who put the pieces meticulously
we
together?
were trying to reverse engineer him.
Yeah,
It was
because
wasn't it
could it
G5?
have been?
It was G5.
Well, that's
Was definitely
yeah.
G5.
But he said Orochi. I don't know if that
Well,
was
I mean, Orochi
No, I think
destroyed
Orochi
him.
beat him.
that's what it was in reference. That's what he meant by that.
Yeah. No, he said Orochi
Yeah.
beat him, but when Child Emperor literally finds Metal Knight's body taken apart, meticulous, it's all laid out on there. Do we know that was G5, or could that have been Drive Knight who did that?
That leads into the next question we go ask of is Drive Knight G5? But before that, I got the manga dex translation. The Metal Knight drone he was controlling was destroyed and taken apart in the monster hideout by Orochi. I don't think Orochi's a tech genius, so like, should we interpret how you're saying, or like?
Yeah, Roach just slapped him up.
All right,
Somebody else took him apart.
And just shattered him against the wall.
Yeah, Giro and Orochi didn't really care about it. They just kind of held it up as like a trophy, kind of.
Yeah, I remember it being like just hung from the rafters.
And like it was just after they were done with it, they kind of just like threw it away, like it was trash. Because G5 just randomly finds the head on the ground, like it was just there, like it was like shit or something. I don't know. Get this shit out of my face. I don't know.
Drive Knight kills 3 tigers in the first few times you've seen him. Pulls out a black box, posts up with that shit. Famous looking panel that we haven't seen about Drive Knight in a long ass time. Box looks tip-top shape. Nice. In this chapter, Drive Knight tells second guard that he can't fight because he's out of energy. The box is shown and it's all beat up. The box is complete. Whenever we see Drive Knight change or go into different forms, transformations, the box is altered in some way or form, or it's assimilated with Drive Knight. G5 is walking around, and he has a smaller G5 drone within him, similar to the G4 drone. Is Drive Knight still G5?
So I was definitely wrong about this. Drive Knight and G5 are not one and the same person. But another thing that I said is that it's a possibility that if they weren't one and the same person, that Drive Knight is at the minimum is controlling G5. And I think that's definitely what's going on.
No,
Or
because
given their similarities. Oh, go, Matt.
I was going to say, because also what like Drive Knight was saying about Metal Knight, which introduces the possibility, is like how they share real-time battle data, so they improve at the same time. So it's definitely entirely possible that somewhere like Drive Knight and G5 could be like operating at the same time under the same control.
You mean Drive Knight and G5?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, it's all right. I've done it many times this past week, like trying to say Drive Knight, but I'm saying Metal Knight and vice versa. But yeah, I think you nailed it on the head there.
Or
Okay, yeah.
what?
Or
What?
go ahead.
Or okay, the fact that we have a G4 and a G5. Okay, and the fact that Drive Knight has the single eye. The designs are kind of similar, but obviously the external body is always different. What if they're all in the same line?
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. Either way,
But he took on a new name so that they catch on.
I think
or something.
I think it's the obvious the model idea where it's like G4 is a model, G5 is a model, but it's either that like Drive Knight is in direct control, and he, like you pointed out, he may have a system similar to like it's either a regular drone control where he's just controlling G5 directly, or they are affiliated with each other and like they're robots. So why wouldn't they not be able to share information together? Like G5 is just another model of robot inside the organization. Drive Knight is a particular special model, and because he was in the vicinity, Drive Knight told him to come over and come do that thing to this nigga, so he without suspicion and shit. But
yeah, isn't it weird that right as Second Guard is about to make that very important call, he blows his fucking hand off?
Yeah.
I might want to add or bring up that he doesn't like react very much. Like he has the
he just turns
face.
his head around and looks at him like, oh, look at that.
Slow
Oh,
as
shit.
shit. Yo, he's
That
a
flirt-
Beast.
Well, ain't that about it, bitch? You just blew your hand off. That sucks.
Like
God,
that
G.
furthers. You remember that weird little theory I had a couple chapters ago about like the eye might actually be what's in control, and the rest of him is just like a puppet or something that was taken over. He might not actually feel the pain, and he's just trying to mimic what a human might react to that with. Because, I mean, like, the lack of blood is easy to just characterize or, throw away that it got vaporized and solderized the wound. so he's not going to bleed out. So it's not like the whole body is completely artificial, But like the pain receptors aren't active right now, so he's just kind of acting. And that the eye is still in control. But I don't know. That was just me.
Either way, bro, you can't tell me that this nigga turned lord, bro. He drew him looking back, and then was just like, come on, bro. This is why I was saying earlier that like, how can there be two sides saying that Metal Knight suspicious versus Drive Knight suspicious when this nigga obviously, bro, a laser beam and it goes for the phone and not the.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he tried to kill Second Guard, who was not really a threat, versus Drive Knight is already in itself suspicious. And also, he had the information on Wakama and the fat guy, whatever his name is. It's like, how did you get that info? Like, you just like, oh yeah, I know they're here. Like, what?
Yeah, the worst part is he doesn't even actually try to kill Second Guard. He specifically goes for his phone hand. Right after telling him, oh, by the way, you might want to increase security. He's like, no, not
the way you said that.
He's like, not today, I'm taking your hand. Yeah, I mean, like, it's super suspicious. I kind of agree with Matt, and I think it was Zhoniin, in the sense that, there might be one mind, two body kind of thing.
I mean, that, and then, of course, like, that is a much more difficult shot to make, the hand, rather than just the chest, just to take him out there. He purposely didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, depending on if they are all in the same line of robots and stuff, where does Drive Knight fit in? Is he a later model, an earlier model?
He's like Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
What? I know we're getting close to Halloween. What?
He's the first. He's the alpha and the omega of the organization.
They've all been like sentiently competent. Like none of the G's have been like each of them have been like aloof and shit. Maybe G4 was more hot headed. I'll say that, but like G5 was out there aloof and shit, cool and chilling and shit. So I would, same thing with Drive Knight. Drive Knight just be out there, looking at niggas with that eye and shit with the dreads, driving with the dreads.
But anyway, the point I was kind of making was that if G5 turns out to be the later model and whatnot, he might have been remotely viewing and like just hearing their conversation. Hence, how he knew how to destroy the phone. It's like, nope, no reinforcements today.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. Well, let me go ahead, Grimm. Then there's something I just want to discuss.
I was going to quickly mention that. Never mind, I forgot. Go ahead.
So I hate to do this, Grimm, but I feel like it must be said. Now, G5 survived the atomic slash.
No!
Facts.
So we know that Grimm loves to shit on Flashy Flash because he couldn't kill 100 Eyes Octopus.
Yeah, listen, right? I don't want to hear the bullshit, all right?
That's facts.
all right. I got alternative facts, bro. King ran away from G4, and it was indeed Genos who beat G4. The same nigga who Atomic couldn't cut, and then Genos beat that nigga. So, hey man, there's obviously some crazy shit going on right there.
So you're placing Genos above Atomic now. Okay.
And King, bro. So it's all right. It's all right.
Okay, so you're off Atomic's dick now.
Wait, what?
No. On a serious note, like, there's something to say. I don't know what you niggas talking about, bro. Atomic's out there doing that thing to niggas, bro. G5,
but I will point out that there's kind of a continuity error here with G5. Because if you go back to, I think it's like 110, when he fights Atomic Samurai, he straight up gets Atomic Slash, and you see all of the cuts in him. And then, like, he essentially crumbles to pieces. So how does he have this much left on him? It's essentially only be the little G4, G5 guy inside of him. Because that's what he says, like, oh, I couldn't cut the core. So you just assume that that's all that was left. But No, apparently he's like kind of just got his arms blown off and like his armor. But in theory, he shouldn't have nearly enough to where he's like walking like this.
His legs and shit definitely got cut, but like the pile that was left on the ground, it wasn't everything. It was a little bit.
I mean, the pile doesn't look. The pile is ambiguous, at least in my opinion. Ambiguous of like how big or what it contains exactly, because it's an atomic slash. But still, like when you see him getting cut, like it's like he's diced.
His legs are cut. Yeah,
everything is cut on him. Like in the one panel when he's like the fun factor.
I don't know, bro.
I want to add
it
this.
Doesn't matter, but I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that G5 slash. That's all that matters.
Listen.
Hey, take a focus.
and G5 is a demon.
All right, okay. It's like just like 100 eyes.
Yeah, so they're even.
All right.
Listen.
All right, you got it.
G5 tank atomic samurai shit and child emperor shit. But as soon as that dishwasher nigga came in, done. Over.
That's what Genos has been ready to.
You just saying dishwasher makes me always think of the washer hero from My Hero.
Who we recently saw.
I know.
He's actually interning. I forget who.
There's a
we won't go into
Grimm, what's your opinion on My Hero?
There's a nigga based off of a washer, bro.
Not even based. He is like a sentient washer.
Yeah, it is weird. I won't deny.
Before you laugh, Grimm, we have Showerhead, okay? So just
and we got demonic fan Grimm. You can't laugh. We got demonic fan in this manga. Like come on.
But those are not sentient things, like Showerhead, bro. Like that's legit raw as fuck, bro. Like Garo bashed that nigga. He got up like, oh, you strong, nigga. Like that's strong as hell. But the nigga's a washer. And he's interning places. Stop.
He'll put you in the spin cycle.
No, not only that, he's a top 10 hero.
Yep. He's number 8.
Yeah.
Yo, that's proof of the My Hero verse be getting washed, bro. I'm out of here. No.
Hang on, Grimm. We had a hot dog monster in One Punch Man. So
center triangle.
We had that coffee guy. He was one of my favorites.
That black roast.
Black roast, yeah.
Yo, I'm glad I don't read that, dog. I'll do that.
I just want to bring up the point, like it wasn't as bad with G4, but with G5 with the true form core robot, that is way too big to be inside of what's left of his body.
Yeah, because if like you see the perspective of him and Genos, he's like way bigger than Genos.
I mean, those things are like, I'm actually like kind of glad he's like a bot variant, because this gives us like the possibility of getting another one like later on, like a G6 is a possibility now. And that the fucking, like, I don't care what nobody fucking says, the art for G4 and then King, my nigga, that shit was fucking badass. G4 looks really good, really fucking good. Hell yeah. And G5 with the samurai design, bro. Oh, bro. Like, you already know what type of nigga I am, bro. I thought he was hard, dog. And, like, he was actually about that, bro. When he walked up on fucking child thing, pulled out his blade, like, hey, nigga, tighten up, dog. He ain't take me down. Like, like, that shit was wrong, bro. Like, so, I'm just fucking wondering, like, what's G6? Like, is he gonna be like a Viking? Or is he gonna be like a fucking...
Well,
what?
Grimm, have you noticed how the royal robot fighted King and the samurai robot fighted Atomic Samurai?
Theming.
Do you think there's more to these robots than it seems? It's just a coincidence that, you know, G4 fought King and G5 fought Atomic.
One time would be a coincidence. Two
That's
times.
actually
fuck
that's a pretty cool observation. I'm just noticing that
yeah,
now.
I hadn't thought about that. That's a good one.
It's not
Kudos.
narrative based though. It's not like because G5 happened to find Atomic, right? He wasn't like. Are you saying that? Go ahead.
That's true, but he also, just like how G4 wanted to test King, G5 also wanted to test Atomic. That's why he was slowly going up in his speed, wasn't he? Because he wanted to test how fast Atomic could go.
That's okay. You it's just so difficult to see it, but the fact that like he popped up out of nowhere to where Atomic, I can give you that. I can accept it. That like he may have been scheming for Atomic. Fine, sure. Gather more information to I'll give it to you 100%. And then the fact that it correlates so exactly with the G4 part 2, all right, bet. But since you're saying this, what's the G6?
No.
Well, if it's going after like the powerhouses, so go after the strongest, who would G6 be? I guess obviously after a top 10 hero. Maybe if he wants to learn more about anyone, it might be someone like Zombie Man. I don't know exactly what the design would be.
Oh, then he's like a T-1000 type of
It could be,
robot.
or even like a Frankenstein kind of robot, or something like that.
Or it could
Or
be
it could be
Val-
Darkshine, and he's like a big, like muscular looking one.
A big black robot.
or he looks like Ash from the Walking Dead, the Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Yo, fucking like a Frank, because we haven't gotten the Frankenstein like theme for anything like at all yet.
And I love that theme.
Yeah, so like the thing is though, like so the tech guys that I usually consider or recognize are Kuseno, Bofoi, the organization niggas, and Child or whatever, right? And I guess Fukugawa or whatever, or the nigga that made Beefcake or whatever. Only Kuseno and Fukugawa are niggas that are fucking with biotics. So I would assume that only those two niggas would be able to make something integrating like flesh or like biotics and shit. So that's why I'm like, I don't know about like fucking a Frankenstein one, but like
It looked cool though, wouldn't it?
My nigga, like that was this week's biggest debate in Discord. I kept telling niggas that Zombie Man's a high dragon, and they can't convince me otherwise. And niggas went in calling me credulous and calling me dumb and crazy for saying that shit. But like, bro, if Frankenstein came for Zombie Man, bro.
Well, I know Dr. Genos is kind of out of the running for doctors that will probably see stuff in the future, but what if someone could acquire like his data files and stuff and then use that to make the Frankenstein monster?
Exactly.
Called Zoo Man, because it's just a bunch of animals.
You fucking ruined it, bro. Zoo Man? Nigga.
I don't know. It was the first thing that popped in my head. You can call it Zoo or Z-Man then.
Okay. I've just had an idea. Shut me down because it's literally just popped into my head. So shut it down if it sounds too ridiculous or stupid.
No doubt, we got you.
But I always wondered why Drive Knight had hair. Right?
That's a great question.
No. Jerry, this is going somewhere.
Okay.
He collected Saitama's hair as
Well, because of like the pattern we've seen. So like I said, King fought against the Royal Robot. Atomic Samurai fought against the Samurai Robot. And you want to know about Drive Knight's connection to the organization? What if he was the robot that was designed to fight Blast? And the whole reason like he's still tactical and learning is because he's still trying to pick up, because Blast is an unknown opponent. So he's got to learn everything he can about it. And like maybe that's why he keeps asking questions about Blast as well.
That would be amazing.
Niggas, yo, this is too much, bro. Right, yo. Nigga. Chill.
Seems like you have to make a video about that.
Like, I don't have enough proof, but I just need to get like every idea about the organization out. But like
You got all the
that
proof,
just
man.
makes sense.
You got all the proof. He's wearing blast pubes for his hair, dude.
Like I said, I still think it's Saitama's hair,
I
and
bought
he's
these
just
blast pubes on eBay.
No. Like even now, I've just been staring at like Drive Knight's design, trying to compare it to Blast design in any way to see if there's any similarities between them. But not really from what we've seen of Blast, of course. But
No, I like that. I like that because I like that theory because it adds more to his like incessant and insistent kind of where's Blast? Bring Blast. You ain't got an arm. Where's Blast?
Yeah, it gives more reason to that. I mean, fuck it. We low key because we already talked about it earlier. Moki might title this podcast "Can Drive Knight Fight Blast?" Nigga, it's definitely sounding considerable right now. What we're talking about, but God, like, bro, what a theory that one nigga make that shit, dog. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We already talked about how like once G5 got out of the armor, he went after second guard instead of attacking Drive Knight. I think it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we did talk about how somehow Drive Knight runs on fucking battle energy.
Oh yeah. That drops the stocks. Yeah. Stock evaluation part 2. Nigga. Yeah. We're going across the board. Niggas was telling me. Matter of fact, no. Nobody in the podcast, you don't gotta receive this. It's just for the motherfucking bitch ass, pussy ass, hoe ass, dick in the booty ass, toxic ass niggas in the Discord, bro. I thought Brave Giant was limited because it had a time limit, huh? I thought Brave Giant couldn't be a high dragon because he had a time limit. And now this nigga.
Well, it could just be the terminology, and that's not what the power source is called, because he says it's my battle energy. It could just be the box's power source has run out, because he's able to still move around his body itself, but the box can't transform anymore. So its batteries are dead. Whatever the batteries are.
Could be that, or it could just be that he was bullshitting, you know.
Or kinetic energy, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was just that he was bullshitting. I mean, like, if we go with the whole Drive 9 G5 kind of one body, one mind, well, two bodies, one mind kind of thing, there's no reason for him to actually try to fight G5.
Maybe.
So he would have just like let G5 continue trying to do whatever he was going to do to second girl until Blast showed up, or until he forced someone to call Blast as something out of retirement.
It's just either you know what Grimm was saying with the whole like what did you call him, Grimm? Like, what did you rank Drive Knight as? Was it mid dragon or some shit like that?
No, I called him a dragon, true dragon.
Okay, true dragon. Yeah, like, because that limit thing is fair if he's telling the truth. That's fair, because that's the same thing I said. If he really runs on battle energy, then yeah, he is limited to some degree. But I think he's bullshitting, of course. So if again to the point again, it's like G5 attacked second guard with reckless abandonment. He did not give a fuck that Drive Knight was right there. So that's too suspicious that he just like, sat there and let that go by. So I think he's definitely capping.
Yeah, plus it's interesting that, albeit that, Drive Knight hasn't been involved super heavily throughout the series as some other characters, but we're just now finding out that he has a power limit. So there is a lot of suspicious things just all correlating right at the moment when, help may be possible to arrive, kind of deal. So, yeah.
I'm ready to stand Genos.
Bro.
He dented the shit out of G.
That entrance. That was the entrance.
Tito's coming through with it, bro. Good shit, dog. Like, bro, what the fuck were we talking about? Like, fucking, like, almost 6 months? No, like 5 months since Genos? How long has it been?
I don't know.
He'd been
All I
cleaning
want,
in that kitchen for a while.
he been scrubbing the shit out of dishes. But I want this manga to be called One Kick Man because my nigga came in there with one flying kick, got rid of that nigga, called a body. One kick. Fuck a Saitama. One kick man.
He warped the shit out of that metal. Because you don't even see the inner workings of it. It's just like it bent and stretched all the way so that the dent is perfect.
Shit.
He almost pushed his head through his ass, man. That's impressive.
And instead of the, I'm going to put my boot so far up your ass, it'll be coming out your mouth. It's the other way around. I'm going to put it through your head until it comes out your ass.
Oh shit! Quick opinions. Matt, Zoe, and Sundown on the Genos entrance.
That's how like the main character's psychic makes an entrance. That's how that's it. He deserved that entrance. I was personally, I would have been quite content if he did nothing this whole arc and they just built up his power up for nothing. But I loved it. It was so good. Like it's like the double scrub was great. It was his face afterwards where he's just like, I'm better than you, and that's it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him flying in, he looks like I think in the first panel we kind of see him right after he says something like, I remember this energy signature or something along those lines. You just see this kind of meteor shaped thing in the top right, and you can instantly tell like he's completely different. His leg shape is different. It's got those like little kind of exhaust coming out of it where he's flaming out, and his shoulders look amazing. And then his left arm is really the only arm we catch a really good glimpse of. But he's got that kind of, it's like before, he's almost got that Elder Centipede kind of carapace looking look to his arm.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the
looks.
poll question. Go ahead.
Is it? Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, and he's looking pretty dope. And I like the fact that I think the spiky things around his shoulder, I think in one of the panels we see, I think they might fold around the exhaust fumes on his shoulder, which makes it even more awesome. But yeah, just from a design perspective, he looks insane.
Go ahead, Zoe. Then I want to ask that question.
Yeah, it's very fitting that he shows up right now because he's like Drive Knight's doing here. And it's also going to tie up the whole last confrontation that Genos and Drive Knight had. You know, Metal Knight is your enemy thing. So they're going to have a lot to talk about.
All right, so Sundown brought that up about the armor, and this was also brought up. I don't know if you guys mentioned it or had the thought about it. Is this EC armor?
Certainly looks similar to it. Can't say for sure if it is or isn't.
So like everybody say your opinions on if it is or not, and then also say if it is, what does that mean?
Elements of it could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Genos normally does, isn't it? Like, if he defeats an enemy and any of it survives, he takes it back to Kuseno to implement to his next armor. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if it is. But maybe that's, I don't know what that would mean for his actual, like, combat capabilities. Maybe it's like, maybe if anything, like, his physical capabilities have gone up because of the armor itself. Or maybe even, I wouldn't say defensive because this is emphasized to be, like, super offensive armor. But if there is anything, it could be that.
Also, just a little quick note, and it was in the at the end of the manga decks. Way back when he was still scrubbing dishes, and it was like right after Saitama punch, that cracked everything. It's brought up that energy signature might have been leading up to this moment, not Saitama, which makes more sense. Saitama doesn't have an energy signature.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was interesting to think about. But it just, I don't know why. I don't know why we would assume that it's that. But like the specific instance in Chapter 106 is everybody reacting to Saitama punching Overgrown Rover, right? That's what he's feeling, like the tremor and the force of like the impact, and he's kind of relating it to Saitama.
Yeah, and D5 was below ground at the time period. Not to say he couldn't sense anybody below ground, but like this is something that we even discussed in those chapters. Period. We brought up what if G5 ends up coming to the surface after losing to Atomic, and that's what he did. So I would assume that like that's why he sensed the energy signature. But it's like you said, it's interesting to correlate. But I think it goes with the reactions of that chapter.
I mean, it could be. I'm not completely ruling it out. And this was like a translation note, right? So maybe HDX 514 was able to read a different context than what we were able to pick up on, or something.
I mean, yeah, that nigga Japanese.
Nah, as far as I know, he's American. But I don't know. It's just odd that he would be thinking about G5 when we're specifically seeing everyone reacting to Saitama.
Yeah, it's the timing of it.
Hey, I know.
I think he was right at Saitama.
I know Vib and a few of the guys that are in the Discord are also in the One Punch Discord. So if you guys see him or contact him, just let him know about the podcast, and then we'll invite him on for a session or whatever to get his opinion on the translations and shit. I think a lot of us use manga decks anyway, so we're kind of interested to see his direct opinion of like the exact shit.
No, Vib is the typesetter and the editor. The translator is HDX 514.
Yeah, I know, but they said he's also in the One Punch Discord.
He's also what?
He's also in the One Punch Discord.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think he can also read Japanese too, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, Vib, he actually listens to the podcast, so...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's pretty active.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, he's like the auteur of One Punch Man. You know, like Library of Ohara for One Piece. He's like that version of One Punch Man.
All right, bet. Hey, Vib, you just earned your mod ship. Shout out from Zoe. All right, bet. Good shit. But yeah, if you guys see him over there or whatever, just let him know that he's invited to a session, and then we'll talk beforehand or some shit. So there's two big things I wanted to talk about, but like I said in the beginning, this is going to be a super theory-based, speculation-based podcast. We've gone for like an hour and 15 minutes so far, or something like that. So the two last points I wanted to discuss were the validity of Genos versus Drive Knight, either now or in the future, and how impactful is the threat of what they said about Bullfoy. Let's start with the Bullfoy one. So, in a quote that was kind of confusing, I think I know what it means now, but there may be a separate interpretation depending on who you are. But this was said about Bullfoy's drones and his capabilities. Bullfoy can link a large number of his robot weapons into one autonomous unit, capable of communicating battle data to each other in real time, thus improving battle efficiency. I personally believe this means that all the units have a system kind of like the internet, where they can in real time see and understand what each of the other ones see and understand. So like, if you got 50 drones in Africa fighting, and 50 drones in Japan fighting, the African drones can fight the Japanese just as well as the Japanese drones can fight the Africans. That's what I think it means. But I've also heard, and I initially believed that it was some shit where like he can make a Megazord or something like that.
That's what I thought when I first read it.
Yeah. So like, This threat, however you see it, this seems to be what Drive Knight's pointing out, that if it gets into enemy hands, it will be catastrophic for the association. So like, how do you see that power? Like, which interpretation do you understand about it, and how impactful is it to you?
Pretty much the first thing you said. You know, like how Pain could like see everything as long as all the other Pains could see it. Like, you pretty much had to blindside all of them at the same time for you to get the jump on them. That's how I see it. They're all linked to each other. So like you said with the first example, they can all communicate to each other as long as like one of them sees something.
And I was recently reading, it's a DC comic by Kingdom Come. Not by, but it's called Kingdom Come. And it takes place like in the 90s, but like superheroes have been around since like the 50s and everything. So like Batman's getting old and everything. And to protect Gotham, he makes all these robots that he seemingly controls some of their actions. And I could see a similar situation. Like, okay, drones 100, 101, and 102 go to the East Port or something and, you know, deal with the villains there. Kind of deal. And he sees everything they see.
Yeah, I took it the same way. I think Grimm took it in the sense of, you know, if you had some of them over in Africa, you have some in Japan, they'd be able to kind of, you know, be able to understand what's going on in Japan, be able to fight them on the same level. If they're in Africa, almost as if their minds are always like all on the same kind of cloud or Skynet kind of thing. In terms of impact, see, I don't really see, because it was suggested that Beaufoy would go and basically slam down on the Hero Association, but I don't think he'd have built something so impressive and something that, well, has it been under attack since he's built it? Is there any proof of it being substantially like
other than that one little infiltration with the weird name like parasite monster? That's about the only thing I remember.
Whenever she was mentioning the objectives of the Monster Association, she mentioned that they eventually plan to attack the association, like directly at headquarters directly.
Yeah, I think basically at some point they're planning on tearing down the Hero Association.
In the most literal way possible, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what I was thinking was, like, if it hasn't been under attack as of yet, we don't technically have an example of whether Beaufoy actually built it to be like incredibly defensive. Like, if he is the traitor, it could just be like a dandelion in the wind, essentially. Like, the first attack could knock it down.
Oh, like he told them that it's this super, you know, well-armed, like, structure. You're fine. But then, like, there's no actual weapons and the walls are paper thin.
Yeah, exactly. If he's the traitor, that is. I mean, like, it might not be something so elaborate as, oh, my robot's gonna come kick your ass. It might not be anything like that. It might just be he's built it to be paper thin, and one attack will literally knock it down.
All right, so here we go. Some more conspiracy territory. So this is definitely true about Metal Knight. I don't doubt this at all. What he's talking about here, all the robots connecting with each other, improving each other with real-time battle data, communicating and all that shit. That's probably definitely true. I mean, why wouldn't it be? He seems to be capable of it. And it's also confirming all of the suspicions about Drive Knight having a freaking arsenal and army of crazy robots. This is fine. It's expected. But also, Drive Knight is talking about himself in this chapter, too. Everything that he's talking about before here, he's talking about himself as well, and the organization. Because this is exactly what the organization is doing as well. They are, in fact, a link, or like a network of robotics, minds, or whatever, all linking to Drive Knight one way or another. They're all feeding each other information, and they're all improving each other's battle efficiency real time. Because, like, all of the battle data that, like, G5 and all of them are collecting, it's all going to Drive Knight as well. Also, like, any other things that the organization has, they're able to communicate like that as well. So, like, Drive Knight found out the location of the Monster Association that was in Z City. So that was, like, the big thing. But where exactly was it in Z City? Well, he didn't know. He just had like the ambiguous answer of that. But then Narinki's private squad, who we all know and love. What was that one girl's name?
Asami.
Asami, of course. Rest in peace. But
Rest
So
in
we
peace
know-
is more like.
they had the organization suits, the original ones that were given to the Paradisers, or that the Paradisers were allowed to steal. And isn't it a coincidence that G5 intercepts them at the same exact time that they reach the Monster Association? That's because, like, they essentially have like a GPS in there. And that's how he was able to track them down and find exactly where they were going. And also, he was fed the data by Drive Knight that the Monster Association is in Z City. So you've got that. And also, this lines up with like how Drive Knight has all of the information on the executives and all of that stuff, because it was given to him by G5.
So eventually, is culminating what you're saying, we should get like tailored robots. Like, not, I don't mean like kind of like how the scheme that Matt was talking about how like, oh, these niggas like seem to have a scheme and they're fighting their opposition. Like, eventually there should be a robot who can fight all of the heroes in particular. Like a nigga that can counter the water stream while deflecting an atomic slash and sidestepping a flashy. Like a nigga who
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that goes into what Matt was saying about why Drive Knight's in the Hero Association. And I don't think it's just specifically for Blast, but it's for the S-Class. Like, he's there so that they can develop a way to defeat them, because they're going to be the ultimate thing stepping in their way of global domination. So, like, you know, close to your enemy, hiding in plain sight.
It's just, these niggas aren't around enough, man. Like, well, how many times you seen Drive, bro? I think it'll be around. I could give that more acceptance if they were like, or if this espionage plot wasn't as of recent. Like, previous to a suspicion on Drive Knight wasn't like heavily influenced by like espionage theories, but now it's like almost confirmed that this nigga is for a fact probably spying on everybody while they sleep and shit. So like, one of the things we were talking about in the Discord this week as well was as we've already mentioned, does Drive Knight already have a catalog on the heroes? You know, G5 came in boasting about learning Atomic's like fighting style and shit, but you can be beaten by that shit. You remember when Goro was like, "Oh, I already analyzed Watchdog shit. I'm gonna go in there and beat that nigga's ass, make that nigga," and he got that thing done to him, bro. Straight paw on paw. So the question was like, does Drive Knight actually have information on all these hero niggas? Because we didn't see a picture of heroes, saw a picture of monsters. So I'm excited to see if that's like a fucking. I'm just excited in general, bro. Like this plot, like I really hope it continues to get sprinkled in continuously. Kind of like how the Reverie's been sprinkled into One Piece. Like, it's pivotal as fuck, it's gonna affect things, but you know, it may not be, you know, stopping the immediate monster. I need more of this.
I don't think it's going to go too much further. I think a pin's going to be put in it.
I hope not. Actually, and this is coming from me, so you know how dire the situation is. I will actually allow Murata to fuck around and not show us the Gero titty in place of getting more of this. That's how serious I am about it.
Wow.
That's his official statement on the matter.
I'm impressed, sir. I'm impressed. I personally wouldn't. No. Nah. If you told me that next chapter, Drive Knight's pull some more like, oh, he a bad guy type shit, versus seeing 6 wide double spreads a fucking girl's titties out with fucking
Hold on, we didn't say 6. We didn't say 6.
with Tatsumaki's, dress all torn up and shit, with like half of her nipple showing, but the other half covered and shit, and on the other titty, like the whole nipple is exposed, but the psychic glow is covering that shit because she got a dark shine too, so you can't really see that. Nigga, like, I'm taking that chapter over Drive, dog.
So,
But Drive Knight, he's limited in what he can do now because I think there is some truth to what he's saying about his energy. I don't think he's completely drained. I'm sure he could still fight and stuff, but he's definitely not at his full capacity. And I doubt he could take Genos in his current state.
no.
He can't take Genos in his strongest state. Fuck that shit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah. Let's quick
We
touch
with it.
on it. What's up? Y'all niggas ain't about it for a quick second.
We with it.
What's up? We're dressing. Let's dress it, guys. I say Genos. No, I say EC Genos could beat TTG. Tactical
The heck's the
transformation.
I already know how I feel.
Tactical transformation.
Yeah, tactical transformation gold.
I was trying to
God.
figure out which tank top are you on about?
Tank top.
Tank
God.
top. Yeah,
Tank
I was
top.
about to.
God.
Yes, stole it from me.
that tank top master's finally transforms into a monster. I need that for.
I wish.
Or Guru. And then, like that's the one who teaches him. And then
Yeah, tank top
becomes the
grandpa.
guy. In my day, we didn't even need the tank top. We wore sweater vests.
Then why do they call you Tank Top Grandpa?
What was that?
I'll put you across my knee if you ask me that shit again.
What was that? Alright, I guess niggas don't want to fucking hop into that shit. Because ain't no fucking EC Genos with body, bro. Call the niggas cheese, bro.
You already know how your Discord works. If you make one claim that may or may not be outrageous, they're gonna jump in your ass with the spiked Tims.
Right, there you go.
The
This is
Black
for the-
Air Forces.
Oh, even more dangerous somehow.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
I dare you. I dare you to, like, right now in the Discord, put in EC Genos beats Drive Knight Gold.
I think he did.
No. You type that. I want to see what happens.
That's not my opinion.
no, nigga. You type.
Loophole.
Just quickly.
Grimm gets attacked by his Discord on a daily basis. I don't even think.
I wonder why.
What was that deflection? No, you put it in.
No, bodies. Hold on. Not beats. Bodies.
Just quickly, because it'll be live. Everyone in the chat now, just one word: Genos or Drive Knight.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And we'll see what people say from there.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see what people say about that. Yeah.
I screenshot it and spam him with it when he's wrong. We're not going to mention how Nyan is actually still cooked.
That boy dead.
Well, it's only been a few minutes, so if he does have the whole 9 lives ability, it could kick in at literally any time. Or, if he is truly dead, we can just scrape him off like toast, and then we can still get that sweater.
What the? Hold on.
Nah,
I'm looking at where his body is because I seen
Yeah.
it like beside him, but
He
then
disappears in page 18.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I seen that meme.
someone mentioned that he
That's
just
the shot.
disappears.
Yeah, they dropped a meme about that shit earlier.
The 8 lives theory
no,
lives on.
Oh, no.
It lives on like Nian.
He's like, Neon, where's Driver Knight?
They don't even make mention of it. Not that I guess they've had time.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Right?
after Blast shows up, you don't see him again, and then the next time you see Drive hand,
Oh my
he's
god!
not in it.
Please tell me he
That's
did.
a continuity error by Murata,
Yeah,
which is very
yeah.
possible. He's not he's not like he's not perfect. He does make mistakes sometimes.
I thought he put it
Or
in
would
the
you
box
would
or
think
something.
that Drive Knight's like what did he call it? Like his life force signature detector or whatever Wouldn't he notice if Nian came back to life?
Either that or a gust of wind came past her, then driving, and then yeah, just blew into the wind and
Oh,
disintegrated.
well, he just turned into ash and blew away.
Yo, these
Oh,
niggas dropped
man.
hella reactions, but chill. Nah.
Mate, they love this.
But yeah, like there are a lot of panels where he should be visible, but he's not. And that's
It's not even like his body's on the ground, like he just put him down.
he would have
It's
literally
wrong.
had to have thrown him like through a building to not be seen at this point.
Nah, he put him in his suitcase. He put him in the box.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
It's his
I
suitcase.
mean, all I'm saying is like we seen the panel. There's like a bird's eye view of where you see Neon right beside him, and then he's just gone.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
that motherfucker is big, so
yeah.
But he's also very dead, so like easily stuffable into that little box he's got.
I mean, yeah. But he said he couldn't move apparently, so
But why would he purposely like? And why would he not notice that?
I don't know. I'm hoping that it's just an error. You know.
Because he just loves Metal Knight that much that like nothing else matters to him.
Well, actually, what's funny is, okay, in the final, it's on Manga Dex, page 15. This is the final time we actually see Nian at all, okay? This is when he starts bringing up, the information and all that kind of stuff, and Second Gar is having, like, his, like he's covering his mouth and holding his neck and everything, and then you have Drive Night, he's just kind of, like, looking over, like, nonchalant, like, maybe that's when he stuffed him in the box.
Nah, nigga. Nah.
But why does he put the box down?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Is
gonna-
that like a sign of him about to defend himself? Because it's specifically shown that he takes the box off of his back and puts it on the ground.
And it's the speed marks in the panel too. That's why I first believe it. Like this nigga's bullshitting about his energy shit.
We're all looking into it, but I guarantee like it's just going to be whoops, and there's going to be a redraw of this chapter.
But it
Just
is
for that.
possible. It is possible that he put him in the box because there was a reason why he was holding his body.
Yeah, he even said that, like, what was it? It was a very specific line, like that he was trying to capture him, or at least that was what was implied.
Yeah, a corpse obtained or something.
Yeah. So. that
But
might
also,
have
like,
been-
whenever we see shit like this, it like has me worried. Because, like, why are we seeing his corpse so much? Why are we seeing that he's still holding? Just like before when we saw Phoenix Man on the ground, all hacked up.
Yeah, that isn't. It's mid chapter 2. That isn't on purpose. Like he didn't, or like Dion is out of the drawings on purpose.
So, like, unless you're like Koketsu and your friggin' head has been taken, I don't trust any.
Just what's going on? Have you seen, page 18? His box is moving. Is that like him just putting it down, or
Yeah, he's like quickly taking it from his back and putting it on the ground.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Considering that it's on his right side, the way that it's flipping around, it looks like it's kind of like crossed over his back, but it's not.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Unless that's supposed to be because, they were attacked from... No, wait, they weren't even attacked from behind.
Or Neon was conscious and did his little slippy do thing where he goes inside of you, but he went inside the box. Like Neon voluntarily went inside the box.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, very much like... Oh, who was it?
But he
Kasame from Naruto, when he goes into his sword, and then he infiltrates the Cloud Village that way.
Whenever Neon first infiltrated the armor, though, he was able to detect it. So, like, I feel like he has, like, he's able to understand or communicate with the box. I feel like he'd know.
Yeah, but his battery's running on like 5%, so it's...
Yeah, so certain functions may be ceased to maintain as much power to move.
To main function.
And he was wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, bro, this is not like some mistake type shit. He obviously stopped drawing Neon on purpose. Like he stopped doing that. Like none of the panels after that point either are even positioned to allow you to see like Neon or anything like that. So it's on purpose that that's drawn that way. So either that nigga escaped or.
And this could give Genos another reason to like beat another person's ass.
He just sees this half dead cat limping away. He's like, "Hey, you!"
What the hell are you doing? It's like, oh, I fought him earlier.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
but you didn't fight him hard enough. He getting away.
I can't like I don't want to nigga fighting leftovers and shit, bro. Like, come on, dog.
Sloppy seconds.
Well, it depends. You know, if the whole 9 lives deal is going to come into play, and if he has a regeneration factor that we're not aware of.
All monsters kind of have a regeneration.
Well, I meant, but like a more, you know,
like a Phoenix
powerful.
Man thing.
No. Well, I guess in this case it would kind of be that way, but it would be limited. Phoenix Man could potentially just revive time after time until you do something about his suit. But
do you mean more like a Deep Sea King thing?
Yeah, I guess. Just a more emphasized, you know, regeneration. Not your dime store monster regeneration.
What if he turns like those naked cats with all his fur off?
He's like,
"Oh no,
hello, Mr. Bigglesworth. Kind of deal.
He turns into a naked cat. That would get Grimm feeling a certain type of way, man.
The fuck? Fuck out of here with that furry shit. Hell no.
Well, he wouldn't really be furry.
Yeah, is there like naked cat furry stuff?
Grimm knows all about
asking
that.
for a friend.
Okay, yeah.
Are they really a furry? Because there's no fur.
Would Blast show up to the Hero Association? Naked cat furry porn. These are all just hypotheticals.
He's like, God damn it, they found my kink, my one weakness.
Blast comes back and like,
I must.
who the hell took my pubes?
Hey, do you have Blast's browser history by chance?
He secretly attends every furry convention, and nobody knows it's him because he's so isolated and no one really sees his face because he's in and out so damn quick. But then it's like, wait, there was a furry convention that I wasn't a part of the newsletter? Something's afoot. And then that's when he's finally revealed.
Should make a video about that.
This is the you should make a video about that podcast.
None of the other furries can identify the 6'3", 250-pound guy just chilling there, asking people about his pubes.
Yeah, he certainly
What I'm
does seem
amazed-
to be that big.
What I'm amazed at, guys, is we've come up with all these ideas. I've heard all this stuff in the past minute, and Grimm is not responsible for any of it. He's kept his mouth shut.
Yeah. And Grimm cells, nigga.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Grimm cells.
Alright, guys. That was it for 119's session of the One Punch Man podcast. Make sure that you check out the Discord if you want to continue conversations over this chapter and all the previous chapters of One Punch Man, as well as other anime and manga discussions, or pussy and booty. Whatever you want to talk about, we talk about that shit too. We got a whole coalition of niggas that bring you amazing content on a weekly, daily, consistent basis. Niggas like Matt, Sundown, Zhoniin, Satsuki, Kishin. All the niggas bring out either One Punch Man, One Piece, Trash Hero, Hunter x Hunter, some romantic gay shit. That's
Honor.
That's Satsuki be reading.
Never made any contact.
Look. No, Satsuki hates Hunter x Hunter. And the community knows it.
Down, bruh. 7 Deadly Sins, One Punch, Samurai 8, all kinds of shit, bro. All kinds of shit, bro. Niggas be doing shit, bro. You can literally watch and listen to One Punch all day long.
I've done 6 videos in the last 48 hours.
I got my dick sucked 0 times in those hours.
Is that really something you want to tell him?
Ain't no nigga like,
We'll know if he cut that out, guys.
So make sure you check out everybody's channels. The links will be in the description below. Shout out to our patrons for supporting the podcast and YouTube channel. And final question. Do you think Drive Night spies on Fubuki when she's in the shower and shit? Like, does he have
Yes.
information on her?
No.
Whoa.
I mean, is it
He's a
morally
non-
right? No.
He's a
But-
gentleman.
What?
Yes,
all
he just
gentlemen
peeks.
have their limits.
This lying bastard. He's not a gentleman.
Yeah, he just uses X-ray vision through about 3 buildings, and he's like, "Yes, you take that off." And she's
He
none
did
the
say
way.
it's his style to sit back and observe.
So he don't even get into. Oh, okay.
He
Yes,
sits
you
back
slip
and
into that bathtub.
It's like,
He
what
sits
if I
back.
have to seduce Fubuki?
I must gather, or I must do research.
Low key, that's true, right? Damn, low key, yo.
But
'Cause what if Drive gets like some kind of information to find out about Saitama? Because he fucking around investigating Genos and shit, and then in order to fucking get in to cahoots to get more information about Saitama, he can't fuck with Genos, so he gotta seduce fucking Fubuki because King's too strong. So. You know, he has a robotic.
He has a
business.
terabyte. He has a terabyte hard drive of information
Grim,
pertaining
you're doing
to.
well this podcast. You don't need to ruin it, mate. You're doing it.
He has a lucky
Free
that Leon
Kiku.
already was given a backstory, because if not. Alright, guys. See you boys next time. Like I said, like the video, subscribe. Yo, share the video. There, niggas want to listen to other niggas talk about One Punch, but the One Piece community has nothing but niggas that stream this shit. Like, the same niggas want to listen to One Punch, bro. Tell your niggas about it. They will listen. And then once we grow, then fucking JoJo, dog. Alright, see you niggas next time. Yo!